going, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of Break the Chains Media. I'm your host, Corey, and we're going to talk about two very important subjects today. First thing, I'd like you to tick the bell and hit the subscribe button if you like me and if you're coming back for more videos. So be sure, I'm always posting videos, and we're going to be talking about a lot of good stuff. A big year ahead of us. 2019 is going to be the craziest, most wild ride you'll ever be involved with. So here we go, talking about the Electoral College and how there's now 12 states that have actually signed a national electoral college bill that will allot all of the electoral college votes to the popular vote candidate. Now, this goes completely against what our founding fathers and our whole representative republic is about. Now, there is 11 states, Colorado being the 12th state. Jared Polis, I'm coming for you, buddy. You're not doing what I'd like you to do, and I'm one of your constituents. So listen to me here, buddy. Listen to me here, pal. New Colorado law will give states electoral college votes to the national popular vote winner. Now, the Electoral College is important for a lot of reasons. Mainly because, as many people put it before, purely democratic voting is like having two wolves and a sheep vote on what's for dinner. If we have popular vote taking over, popular vote, oh my gosh, everyone's moaning and groaning because Hillary Clinton didn't win, but she had 3 million more votes than Trump. Now, why is that? What's the problem? Oh my gosh, my pink hat, oh no. So the problem is this, guys. If the popular vote wins, then the voices of the smaller states with lower population don't get heard, okay? That's why we have 2 senators for every state and a representative for every state based on population, okay? And this is the most important thing that most people don't understand, is that the Electoral College is representative of the population. Now, if we get rid of the Electoral College, 5 cities will be in charge of how our democracy is run, right? So you got New York, you got LA, you got let's say Washington D.C., maybe Chicago. You got big cities, big populations that have a majority of a particular mindset, liberals. But these people are the ones that are going to be ruling the vote. Say one presidential candidate only panders to highly populated areas or different parts of the demographic he or she knows would be a favorable vote. So if you hang out by the Northeast, or you hang out on the West Coast and get all the West Coast votes, or you hang out in the South and get all the Southern belles to vote, all of these demographics could sway the election in a purely democratic voting system. Because North Dakota wouldn't matter, Wyoming wouldn't matter, Idaho wouldn't matter. There's so many states, flyover states as they call them, would be out of the question because all the president would have to do was hang out in a couple different cities in a couple different states and make sure the votes go their way. Now, this is the problem, and this is why we have the Electoral College, so we can balance it out and everything can be kind of played in the same even playing field. And as you can see by these pictures here in the maps featured, most of these maps show that the population density in the area are controlled majorly by Democrats. Most major population centers are a blue district, and most rural areas are typically Republican or red leaning. The Electoral College makes sure that the candidate gathers many different votes from many different demographics of our country to evenly represent our voting. Simple as that, right? Our country was founded on a constitutional republic which has 3 branches of government and oversights and checks and balances in every aspect of our government. And the Electoral College goes into a very important part when it comes to the presidential election. And we must make sure that this new initiative for the Electoral College initiative is drowned out and canceled out. So I need you all to call or get in touch with your representatives, get in touch with the people that make the laws in your state to explain that your disdain for what's happening in this country and the fact that you do not approve of the Electoral College initiative, and you make sure that your state does not sign on any. We can't have any more votes go towards this because it would be the absolute ruination of our country, 100%. Right now, it has 188 electoral votes. So the only way for it to actually go into effect is if 270, that's the number that's needed to win the president, goes towards this reformation of the electoral vote goes to the popular candidate. Now, I can't see that really happening because there's just too many states that understand the value and the importance of having this sort of representation. And so many liberals around this country think that the Electoral College is an outdated and antiquated system. And that couldn't be further from the truth, okay? The Electoral College is important to make sure that mob rule and tyrannical voting of democratic policies, democratic in the sense of democracy, not democratic as the sense of the left. But funny that it comes out that way because it's true. If our government is controlled by a purely democratic voting without electoral college systems, you will have a mob rule, tyrannical style voting. And every year, every election, 5 cities will always be the one to control the outcome of the president. And that's as simple as that. That's why we can't have this electoral college thing go into effect. So Colorado, you're doing it wrong. Jared Polish, you're doing it wrong. Okay? That's coming from one of your constituents here, brother. So watch what you're doing, all right? Watch what you're doing. Here's a quick little ditty that I just found on Twitter, actually. Our main man, Beto O'Rourke. He's hip. He's cool. He's in with the new guys. He's in with the cool cats. He's a skateboarder. He's all in. He's all in. All in to take away your electoral college votes. Here, check this out, guys.
Getting rid of the electoral college. Is that an idea that you're supporting?
I think there's a lot to that because you had an election in 2016 where the loser got 3 million more votes than the victor. It puts some states out of play altogether. They don't feel like their votes really count. So if we really want every person to vote and give them every reason to vote, we got to make sure their votes count and go to the candidate of their choosing. So I think there's a lot of wisdom in that, and it's something we talked about on the campaign trail in Texas in that last Senate race.
Hey, guess what, Beto? You're wrong. You're wrong, okay? If you want people's votes to actually count, you need to have the states represent them effectively. For the fact that in big cities and in big population centers, it allows the balance of power. It allows for people to retain that sort of understand. And we can't have mob rule. We can't let democracy win every time because guess what? The Democrats are the ones that want to use this. They want to use this power and this mob rule authority to continue to push their votes because they understand deep down, they know that they're losing the war of ideas. They are losing the war of ideas, and so they're continually finding these new outlets to find voter blocks that would vote for the Democratic ticket, i.e. we have immigrants, we have trying to change the constitutional law about the Electoral College, and now we even have Nancy Pelosi coming out and saying that she wants to lower the voting age to 16. And this is actually just now, like last week or last couple days, Nancy Pelosi said that she wanted to lower the voting age to 16. Now let me get this straight. Back when I was 16, I was just learning how to shave. And now you can all see how that turned out. When I was 16 years old, I was logging into AOL Instant Messenger. When I was 16, I had my first girlfriend. I was learning how to drive a car, and I was trying to figure out algebra, for Christ's sakes. I'm not by no means understanding the world of geopolitics and the importance of my value of a vote. When I was 16 years old, the most important thing to me was my MySpace profile. Not only do you have Nancy Pelosi endorsing a 16-year-old voting bloc, but you have other politicians endorsing the same kind of idea. And it's crazy to me to think that a 16-year-old would have the wherewithal and the knowledge to understand who the next president should be. I cannot fathom the idea of a 16-year-old being able to have the understanding and the comprehension to vote for our next president. A 16-year-old now is too busy on TikTok and too busy on social media. They don't even give a damn about our president or our politics. They make jokes about it. So how do you think that their vote is going to impact a national election? When I was 16 years old, I could barely decide what I wanted to have for lunch, let alone figure out who the hell the president was going to be. For them to lower the voting age to 16 is just another way to get the naive, low IQ people, or not necessarily low IQ people, but unintelligent, uninformed populations to vote for free stuff, free food, free healthcare, standardized basic income, free housing, all these fancy magical things that the Democrats always promise. But guess what? It comes out of your taxes, folks. It comes out of your paycheck. If the Democrats get their way on this voting issue, on this Electoral College issue, there will never be a honest and genuine election in this country again. Now, that goes without saying, the electronic voting machines and the way they fudge the numbers and dead people voting and people voting multiple times and absentee ballots, you name it. There are so many ways that these Democrats, and I would say Republicans as well, have manipulated and fudged the numbers in order to gain the votes. I think the Electoral College is one of our last standing bastions of hope when it comes to proper voting. Our government and our country was founded on a two-party system. And the two parties, when they are at odds with each other, they create a wall. And there's no way for them to come together, right? So, between the two parties, we have to figure out a balance, figure out a happy medium where we can work together. We can push forward like the edge of a spear and push forward in our opposing viewpoints, but understand that we have to have a balance of one another's views. And that's the only way we're going to create progress in this country, in this political climate, and in the world today. I don't want to see this country fall to the wayside because of pandering to emotional voting blocks and pandering because, oh no, we got the majority vote, but we didn't win. Oh, my hat. Oh, my gosh. Oh, he's a racist. No, we don't do that. We have to concede when we lose and come back with proper arguments, come back with proper discussions, and find a common ground with each other, okay? That's the only way we're going to do it. It's the only way we're going to get through this, folks. On the other side with the 16-year-olds, let me put it like this. If a 16-year-old's going to have the right to vote, the 16-year-old better have a right. It's going to have to be able to serve in the armed services. The 16-year-old's going to have to be able to, I would say, drink alcohol or smoke cigarettes or any of these other things that an adult is allowed to have. I mean, if you have the power to vote for a political office, you should be able to have the right to drink a fifth of Jim Beam or smoke a doobie or whatever you want to do. And a 16-year-old can barely figure out the clutch, the gas, and the brake, okay? So that's the truth, folks. That will never happen. And if that day happens, there's going to be a big uprising of some sort. I'm going to tell you that much. Folks, if you like what you hear, if you like my comment, if you like my commentary, please leave a like, leave a subscribe, share this video with your friends. Remember, check me out on breakthechains.media. You can follow me on all the social networking, Minds, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You're here right now. So, folks, I hope you enjoy what I'm putting out right now. We are adding a little bit, little by little. I got this new microphone. I got this new audio setup here. So we're getting there, folks. So please, with that being said, like, subscribe, share. Thanks for coming. BreakTheChains.media. And remember, as always, fight for freedom. And do the like, subscribe, drop the bell. Drop the bell. Keep this on. I like this light. It's a good light. It's a good light. It's a good look. It's a good look and it's a good light. All right? When I was 16 years old, I was just trying to figure out how to do a kickflip.